Hello, Bethlehem Baptist Church. This is Pastor Dean, and today is Thursday, December the 7th, our fifth day of Advent, and welcome to our fifth Advent devotion as we journey together through the scriptures up to December 24th. Today, we move the Christmas story from Matthew chapter 1 to Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. So let's read this together where you actually get into the Christmas story. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and all went to be registered, each to his own town. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was the house and lineage of David. Our focus is verses 1 through 3, and I'll begin by reading a thought written by John Ortberg. I really like this thought. I want to read this to you. So it came to pass that the most powerful man in the world sat on a throne in Rome. He was devoted to acquiring and to extending his control, and the world had never seen anything like it. His holding stretched north to England, south to Africa, east to Asia, and covered more than 3 million square miles. More territory than the mainland United States. This man literally ruled the known world. He ruled the rulers. He was, in effect, King of Kings. His control was so unchallenged that the world was in the midst of the Pax Romana, the peace of Rome. Of course, not everyone wanted to be ruled by Rome, but his army was so strong that no one could challenge it. He was very dangerous to his enemies. When that man was 16 years old, the Roman orator Cicero said this of him: Octavian is a talented young man who should be praised, honored, and eliminated. But one by one, he eliminated his rivals, until eventually he was named by the Senate Caesar Augustus. We still talk about an august person, someone whose status is grand and majestic. His government built statues to him to venerate. By the end of his life, people were worshiping him. At one point, he had a standing army of 500,000 soldiers, and that took a lot of money. Caesar was a smart man, and one day he had an idea how to pay for as many soldiers, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Caesar was at this time 60 years old. Perhaps no human being ever before or after had so much control over so much of the world so tightly for so long. There went out a decree, he just lifted his finger, and the whole world scrambled to obey. Now things start to get interesting. This man, the most powerful man in the world, at this time lifts his finger in Rome, and 1,500 miles away in an obscure province, a poverty-stricken couple undertake a hazardous journey at the whim of a king. The result, a child is born in a little town. Oh, that, by the way, just happens to be one mentioned in an ancient Hebrew prophecy about the coming of the Messiah. The prophet Micah had said that Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. But Mary and Joseph lived in Nazareth. They would never have gone to Bethlehem except, Luke chapter 2, verse 1, it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus. That adventure, that journey, got them there. Notice, first of all, the Roman census. As I said in my introduction, Caesar Augustus was ruling, but God was in control and really in charge. For God used a simple thing such as an edict, a decree, for taxation purposes, to move Mary and Joseph 80 miles from Nazareth to Bethlehem to fulfill his word. It was a census leading to taxation. Rome took a census every 14 years for both military and tax purposes, and each Jewish male had to return to the city of his fathers to record the name, occupation, property, and family. The purpose of this census was to provide statistical data in the levy of taxes in the provinces. In the selection of the Roman method of taking the census, we see God acting providentially to bring Joseph and Mary to the place in which Micah had predicted the Messiah would be born in Micah chapter 5 and verse 2. And since Joseph was a descendant of David, Joseph's legal inheritance rested in David's town, Bethlehem. And since Mary, in like manner, was a descendant of David, her legal inheritance was in Bethlehem as well. Notice Joseph's submission to government. Christ was born and prophecy was fulfilled simply because a man submitted to government to be counted in order to pay taxes. Amazing how God works. Second of all, notice this, the fullness of time. Galatians chapter 4, verses 4 through 5 says, "But when the fullness of time was come, God sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons." The fullness of time, Galatians tells us. The timing was perfect in God's story. I was always taught history. His story, history, God's story. Politically, in the world at this time, a one-world government, the Roman Empire. Linguistically, there was a universal language, the Greek language, so the gospel could travel fast. Socially, there was a Pax Romana, a period of Roman peace and prosperity. Economically, there was a universal road system. All roads led to Rome. The road system linked the empire together for trade purpose and military purposes. And once again, so the gospel could travel fast. Religiously, there were many religions, but one world leader, Caesar Augustus, that desired to be worshipped. A universal edict to return to the original town to be taxed. And from a worldly perspective, all this was accomplished by Caesar Augustus. But God overrules. Because who actually remembers, and here's his full name, Gaius Julius Caesar Octavius Augustus. This reveals the true nature of ultimate power. Mary and Joseph are traveling because God is on the throne, and that is the Son of God, the King of Israel, the King of Kings. The Messiah will be born in the city of David's birth in Bethlehem. This reminds us that God still works in this world. It is his story, and he is in control. This should give us a comfort knowing that when circumstances move us or get us out of our comfort zone or life's journey gets challenging, God is still in control and he is working through his providence. In this narrative our text presents to us today, Luke chapter 2 verse 1 gives us a dating to Christ's birth. In their world, Luke lays his gospel out presenting two kingdoms in conflict. You see one kingdom, Rome, Caesar Augustus. He was called by his people the divine Son of God. In Rome, he had declared Julius Caesar God and he his son. But in the other kingdom, a baby was born in Bethlehem, Jesus, the true Son of God. So we find the book of Luke sets up a contest. Two sons of God are on the stage, and a contest to see that culminates at the crucifixion. Who is God? And once again, it comes to hit at the crucifixion, proving to us that Jesus Christ, in fact, is Lord. Here's the challenge. Every person must make a choice on this journey of life. Who or what will fulfill my desires or answer my questions? Who is the Lord of my life? Am I journeying to Rome or am I journeying to Bethlehem? One way is wide and popular. The other way is narrow and not so popular. But every man and woman must make a decision. The lesson of this journey to Bethlehem is one of control. Who is really in control of my life? Thus the application. Today, on this fifth day of Advent, acknowledge the fact that we are not in control and surrender all to the one who is in control. Also, I find this, just as his first coming was right on schedule, his second coming will be right on schedule. There's no need to fear or to be afraid. Trust in the one who works all things out to our good and his glory. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have a blessed day.